is crazy. My God, look at it. That's not a plane. That is wild. Look at it. I can't. That's going way too fast.
As most of you are probably aware, there is a UAP outbreak happening right now on both sides of the Atlantic. And although New Jersey is getting most of the press at the moment, these sightings are taking place across the entire United States and, of course, also in Great Britain and elsewhere. And as you can see, the flight capabilities of whatever these things are can be pretty impressive sometimes. Now, this particular footage is sped up. It's time-lapse footage, but bears a great deal of resemblance to some of the objects or lights or whatever that I saw at RAF Lakenheath. And this is generating concern at the highest levels of the federal government. Let me go ahead and read you a quote from the office of Senator Kirsten Gillibrand of New York. Quote, "Today, U.S. Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, and U.S. Senators Cory Booker and Andy Kim sent a letter to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, Federal Bureau of Investigation, and the Federal Aviation Administration requesting a briefing on how the agencies are working with federal and local law enforcement to identify and address the source of recent unmanned aerial system activity in New York and New Jersey," if indeed that's what it is. But here's the full copy of the letter. Quote, "Dear Secretary Mayorkas, Director Wray, and Administrator Whitaker, we write out of urgent concern regarding the unmanned aerial system activity that has affected communities across New York and New Jersey in recent days. Due to the ongoing nature of these drone incidents, we request that the Department of Homeland Security, the FAA, and the FBI brief us as soon as possible on how your agencies are working with federal and local law enforcement to identify and address the source of these incursions. As you know, since late November, communities in New York City area and northern New Jersey have reported several incidents of unattributable drone sightings at night, alarming both residents and local law enforcement. According to public reports, residents have reported that some of these drones are larger in size compared to other commercially available drone technology. Some of these drones have been observed maneuvering near critical infrastructure and sensitive locations, including reservoirs and military installations. In addition to potential privacy concerns raised by these aerial systems, we are also especially concerned about how these drones may harm public safety, especially given recent reports that a medevac helicopter was prevented from transporting a seriously injured patient for care because of the presence of these drones. The potential safety and security risk posed by these drones in civilian areas is especially pertinent, considering recent drone incursions at sensitive military sites in and outside of the continental United States over the past year. Protecting civilian infrastructure, safety, and privacy, as well as military assets and personnel, will require a comprehensive response from Congress and the executive branch. For this reason, we request that the briefing you provide also include any authorities, tools, or staff your agencies may require to address these ongoing incidents and the broader security challenge posed by UAS. Thank you for your consideration of this request. We look forward to your response no later than December 23rd, 2024. So 10 days from now. But I'm going to show you why I'm convinced that although some of these objects, perhaps even most of them, may be attributable to drones, some of them demonstrate capabilities that definitely are outside the capability of all but the most sophisticated military drones, and even some of them can't pull off some of the things that have been observed. All of this and more coming at you on a special Angry Alien Bulletin right now.
Hey, Center, Horizon 2207. Got time for a question?
Horizon Air 2207, go ahead.
Hey, just wondering if you have any aircraft at our 10 o'clock, out over the coast that you're aware of. Kind of some interesting looking lights out there. Not satellites, but maybe aircraft.
How far out? Because I do have an aircraft at your 10 to 9 o'clock and about 120 miles out.
Possibly, yeah. It looks like at least 4, though. Something's flying. It's not satellites because they're changing direction. It's strange looking. I've seen this a few times over the last month in the same area.
Alright, 9.207, Roger. How far out at your 10 o'clock and are they at a similar altitude as you?
It's really hard to tell. They seem quite far and probably the same altitude or higher.
Roger, thanks for the report.
Thank you.
As you can see, drones can perform some very impressive displays in the night sky, and we can understand why this could sometimes be mistaken for UFOs or some other type of bizarre sighting when it's really something quite mundane, especially with today's technology. But some of the sightings that have been taking place lately have been verified by multiple witnesses and oftentimes even caught on camera, have demonstrated capabilities that are far beyond what these drones that you're watching now or just about any other commercially available drone could possibly accomplish. And even military drones are incapable of flying at the altitudes and speeds that have been described by some of these witnesses. Now, according to New Jersey Assemblywoman Dawn Fantasia, who attended a closed-door meeting on Wednesday with other state leaders and representatives from the Department of Homeland Security, there have been reports ranging from 4 to 180 sightings per night. The drones apparently operate in a coordinated manner and again have not been identified as hobbyist drones or any that are related to the Department of Homeland Security. So again, when we're talking about large drones the size of, say, an SUV, as have been described by some of these witnesses, and by the way, I think that's what we're looking at right now, to get a license to operate these types of drones is a very difficult thing to do, and the FAA has comprehensive lists of operators who are authorized to use drones like this, and it would be pretty easy to track these operators down if they were using these types of drones in close proximity to sensitive federal installations. However, according to the White House National Security spokesman John Kirby, there's nothing to be concerned about. He claims that many of these reported drone sightings appear to be lawfully operated manned aircraft, and he's probably correct about that. However, he goes on to say, quote, "We have no evidence at this time that the reported drone sightings pose a national security or public safety threat or have a foreign nexus. The Department of Homeland Security and the FBI are investigating these sightings, and they're working closely with state and local law enforcement to provide resources using numerous detection methods to better understand their origin. That said, we certainly take seriously the threat that can be posed by unmanned aircraft systems, which is why law enforcement and other agencies continue to support New Jersey and investigate the reports, even though they have uncovered no malicious activity or intent at this particular stage." By the way, he also says that these objects have not trespassed into secured federal airspace. However, Mine Hill Mayor Sam Morris, who's one of the elected officials in Morris County in New Jersey, is not convinced about that at all. As a matter of fact, he said that Kirby's remarks were ridiculous. Quote, "So what that means, he's saying that we're seeing small planes. That's my take on that, and I have to tell you, I'm incredulous about that. I would invite Mr. Kirby to Mine Hill. Come on out, Mr. Kirby, and let's go out one night about 9:30, 10 o'clock. I'll go out behind my town hall, and you can count them with me all night." Boy, I'd love to take this guy up on his invitation, but unfortunately, he lives across the Atlantic. If similar things are currently happening anywhere in the UK, please let me know about it. Put it in the comments, or you can send me an email. I have my email listed in the description. I'd love to follow up on that. But in the meantime, it's becoming quite obvious indeed that whatever is happening seems to defy any mundane explanations anyway. And lest we think that this is something restricted just to the West, or it might be a Chinese operation or something, well, here's a sighting from China.
是不是有 UFO 啊？是什么东西啊？这个是怎么在跑啊？
And what I find to be particularly compelling about this sighting is it was taken from multiple witnesses at multiple camera angles, apparently. Very interesting indeed, and this is not the only example of a recent sighting in countries where we seldom get footage like this. Another example was in Iran. This particular extremely dramatic footage is of a UAP that appeared over an Iranian city, not sure where, but an attempt was made, as you can see quite obviously, to bring it down. Lots and lots of anti-aircraft fire, and yet it didn't seem to have any significant effect on the object in question. But probably the most compelling sighting that, in my opinion, proves that these objects, at least some of them, are not mundane objects or conventional drones, perhaps not even military drones, can be found in a recent sighting in the Pacific Northwest, where several air crews observed a phenomena that none of them could explain.
Okay, Seattle Center, you got 1596.
1596, bud.
Is there any military activity out straight ahead of us?
You got 1596? No, we're not seeing anything. I had another one report at like 30,000 feet in the Eugene area. We're not sure what it is.
Yeah, there's lots of movement out there.
1596, yeah, they're looking into it.
Thanks. And where is that at for 661 Lima Fox?
661 Lima Foxtrot, okay, bye. You know, to 1596, does it still look like it's in the Eugene area?
Yeah, just straight west of Eugene. I mean, we're seeing 3 or 4 targets. You know, they're all altitudes up and down. It's pretty crazy.
You know, 1596, does it look like it's about at your altitude at level 260?
There was some at 30 probably, but I mean, they're shooting way up. We'd say maybe up to the 50s, it looks like.
1596, thanks. Medevac 1 Lima Fox, did you copy?
Yeah, I heard it. We'll be looking. 661 Lima Fox.
And by the way, this is some footage of hypersonic UAPs. You can find that on Genoned's website. I have it linked in the description. But what this medevac chopper had to see later on was just as bizarre.
Direct North Bend Airport. And is there traffic actually out about our 2 to 3 o'clock? About, I don't know, 20, 30 miles?
Medevac 1 Lima Foxtrot, no, is that the 4 different lights going up and down? I'm getting a few reports, but you're seeing it right in front of you now too as well?
It's 2 to 3 o'clock off, that 2 to 3 o'clock from our position. Looks about 20 miles going in circles.
Medevac 1 Lima Foxtrot, yeah, we're not seeing anything, getting lots of different reports out there, some at 30, some all the way up to 50,000, about 3 to 4 different lights. Does it look like they're around your altitude now?
No, there's one way up high and one about my altitude. Moving in like a circle, like a corkscrew pattern.
Medevac 1 Lima Foxtrot, roger. Medevac 1 Lima Foxtrot, just looking into this a little bit more. Could you give me another more accurate report, please?
Alright, I'm visually have eyes on what looks like an aircraft strobe that's at my 2 o'clock and 22 miles at my altitude, and I'm actually showing him on TCAS. Do you see that one?
Medevac 1 Lima Foxtrot, I do not. Does an pilot's discretion maintain 1-4000?
Set maintain 1-4000, Medevac 661 Lima Foxtrot. He looks like he's moving towards, it looks like it's moving towards the north. Like I said, 22 and a half miles off my right wing. Medevac 661 Lima Fox.
Medevac 1 Lima Foxtrot, thank you.
And center, Medevac 661 Lima Fox. Medevac 1 Lima Fox, go ahead. Just had another one show up about my 1 o'clock, about 1,000 feet high, zipping towards us and then back out towards the ocean. It's red in color, moving at extreme speeds. I don't even know how to describe how fast he's moving. 661 Lima Fox.
Medevac 1 Lima Fox, Roger. You are cleared to maneuver as necessary, left and right, to avoid the UFO out there, and all the reports you've given us are good information. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Yep.
Medevac 1 Lima Foxtrot, any chance you were able to film any of that?
We're trying right now, 1 Lima Foxtrot. It's weird. It's a red circular shape, and it keeps zipping out towards the ocean and then coming back in about, 20 miles or closer to us, and then it zips back out of the ocean and we can't see it. 1 Lima Fox. All right, 42555. I have my med crew in the back trying to film it too. They're watching the same thing I'm watching up here.
Medevac 1 Lima Foxtrot, appreciate it. And name, if you want to shoot me a text, picture, photo, whatever you got. So we're all pretty curious.
Will do. 1 Lima Fox. It's still continuing. It's a red, we're only seeing one. It's a red circle-shaped object that's zipping out over towards the ocean. It disappears for a little bit, and then it zips back in about 20 miles from us off the right side of the aircraft. Been picking it up on PCAS. Comes back in, and then it zips back out over the ocean at a rapid rate of speed, faster than anything I've ever seen move. 1 Lima Fox. I'm trying to get a video of it.
Coast Guard 606 Tree, just north of Newport. You monitoring frequency? Coast Guard 606 Tree, just north of Newport. You on frequency?
Oh, it's north end, reporting a quarter now. I think we're going to have to return to Aurora for Medevac 661 Lima Fox. Cleared via direct Medevac 661 Lima Fox. 125.8 Medevac 661 Lima Fox. Seattle Medevac 661 Lima Foxtrot, 14,000 heading 330 just for a couple minutes away.
Medevac 661 Lima Foxtrot, Sail Center, welcome back. Salem altimeter 3028, you are cleared to maneuver however you like. One able to proceed direct to Aurora State and advise.
Alright, one able direct Aurora State, and we'll let you know we're direct to Aurora Medevac 661 Lima Foxtrot. For an update on that thing, it keeps zipping in to just barely over Florence and then back out over the ocean.
Medevac 1 Lima Foxtrot, thank you. Yeah, we have a Coast Guard helicopter that's heading down that way. They're just southwest of Newport now. I'm trying to get a hold of them, but no joy, unfortunately.
Roger that. It's definitely higher than the Coast Guard helicopter, I'm sure. They're pretty low, aren't they?
Yeah, they're down around 600 feet, but they are just off the coast, so I was hoping they could see anything. I don't know if there's cloud cover, though. Live flight 1 Lima Foxtrot, any chance you want to hit that guard, or that Coast Guard there on guard? Our transmitters probably can't reach them that low, but you should have a pretty good line of sight. It's Coast Guard 606 Tree. Coast Guard 606 Tree, if you just want to hit them on 121.5 there and have them try to come up our frequency just for some questions.
Alright, I'll try to get them Coast Guard 6063. That's what you said?
Affirmative.
Coast Guard 6063, this is Medevac Aircraft 661, Lima Foxtrot, how do you hear? Coast Guard on guard frequency, this is Medevac 661 Lima Foxtrot, how do you hear?
Coast Guard 6063, Seattle, how do you hear? Hey, I got you 5x5 as well. I know you guys are probably on search and rescue out there. Just wanted to give you a report up ahead, about 20 miles. There's been several reports now of UFO activity moving what appears to be supersonic speed, kind of inland and then back over the water. We've had multiple altitude reports all the way down to about 14,000 up to flight level 550. I was just wondering if you had any eyes on that out there, if you saw anything. Plus 1100, unusual report for you. That's a multiple UFO reports. Most recent one was 50 miles west of your position over the coast. Circular, red and white. We've had reports of it at 14,000, and then it'll shoot up as high as flight level 550 is the highest report, in kind of a corkscrew pattern, moving at what appears to be supersonic or even hypersonic speed. So if you can look out that way and just let us know if you see anything, or if it's, whatever you see, we'd appreciate a report.
Yeah, of course, we'll look west, Alaska 1100, thanks.
Yeah, we got time for a question.
Yeah, absolutely.
How did you get such an accurate description? Was that from another air crew that reported all that?
So we actually had a medevac Pilatus that was southbound, and it appeared to, it was out over the ocean, and then it came and buzzed them about 20 miles away, same altitude, and then shot back out over the water at a very, very, very fast speed. And then we also had a aircraft in high altitude that was, I believe, at 39,000, and it just shot up past him and in front of him and went way up and then kind of corkscrewed back down. Again, very, very fast. So we're trying to figure out what it is. We don't have anything on our radar, not even a little primary target for it.
Wow, thanks for sharing.
Yeah. Medevac 1 Lima Foxtrot, appreciate all the reports. You can contact Portland Approach now on correction 118.1, that's 18.1. Have a good night.
118.1, we'll send you the videos when we land.
Yes, thank you.
So, regardless of what these phenomena might be, that particular encounter doesn't seem like drone activity at all. Sounds like a military craft of some kind with capabilities that seem beyond even the most advanced military aircraft that commonly gets used. Also, we're talking about something that was able to evade civilian radar and yet at the same time was still picked up by a collision avoidance system. Very intriguing. So I don't want to try to come to any sort of grand conclusions about this. I would, however, like to present a hypothesis. The vast majority of these sightings are indeed drones, and we're getting a lot more of these sightings simply because there's a lot more people looking for these sorts of craft. We probably have hobbyists taking advantage of the frenzy and trying to create their own phenomena, their own 15 minutes of fame by putting up drones with strange lights. I'm sure a lot of that is going on, but at the same time, I think we have an outbreak of craft that are not that easy to explain. Craft that, if we want to talk about an extraterrestrial phenomena, could be explained by the arrival or sudden activity of a large number of small probe craft, spherical probes powered by magnetohydrodynamic propulsion that would create this glowing effect as it ionizes the atmosphere around it in order to provide lift and velocity. Once again, that's just a theory, just an idea, but at the same time, if we're throwing out all of these mundane explanations, and some of the sightings don't match up with any mundane cause, then it's only reasonable to explore fantastic explanations as well. And why would the government not be concerned? Why would the government tell us that we are in no danger? Well, perhaps they have decades of experience with these craft, and they know that they don't attack anybody, that they may be here simply to observe us, but they don't have any hostile intent towards our military facilities, power plants, dams, anything like that. The government is trying to defuse the situation because otherwise people might be inclined to fire on these craft or try to bring them down on their own, which could create an interstellar incident. We have some pretty clear examples of some nations trying to bring these craft down with anti-aircraft weaponry and not meeting with a great deal of success. Perhaps the government knows that that sort of activity would just make things worse, and they're trying to calm the public down without telling them too much. Until we actually apprehend the operators of these drones or actually capture a physical example and demonstrate how these sorts of drones could create the phenomena that have been observed thus far, I think we need to look at every possibility. I'd like to thank Avacado Flight for generously allowing me to rebroadcast his work, and in addition to that, I'd like to thank all the folks who support me on Patreon and PayPal, and I have a Christmas present for you folks coming up. It's an Oumuamua animation created by Digital Voodoo, who does most of the music on this channel at this point, and some other incredible content. That's just a little glimpse, so the Patreon folks, you'll get to see the entire animation, but I will definitely have excerpts for the rest of you if you're interested in joining the Patreon community, because we do have an expanding library of exclusive content there. All the details are in the description. Thanks again for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and until next time, stay angry about space.